Hey guys, real quick, I'm sorry I forgot to mention it, but I gotta put it in here because I was talking about being a father with my son and everything in the Live-ish at Five-ish today. I want to wish my dad a very, very happy birthday. Dad, I love you very much. Happy 73rd birthday. I hope you have a great day. I know you check these videos out, all right, so have a great birthday. And your gift is actually in the mail. I swear it. I have the shipping confirmation, all right? All right, love you. Happy birthday, Dad. Morning, everybody. Dan, the Funnel Man here, Live-ish at Five-ish. It's Tuesday, and we are ready to go and get into, honestly, today and tomorrow in the One Funnel Away Challenge. Really, probably the most important stuff you're going to learn about how to approach using sales funnels and selling your product and selling your offer. The way Russell Brunson is going to teach you how to do it. Today and tomorrow are so incredibly pivotal to understand where you're going with this. To be quite honest, it's going to be hard to fit it in just a few minutes here, but we're talking about story. We're talking about the story of why you are who you are, why the product that you're selling is so important to you, what it is that you believe about it. And he talks about, and he calls this the Epiphany Bridge, okay, the Epiphany Bridge. Now, an epiphany is basically a moment of realization or insight just suddenly hits you and you go, oh, that's the epiphany, that realization, Eureka moment, that I get it moment. That is an emotional experience. Anytime you feel that. I can honestly say one of the times that I discovered that in my life was when I had my son, when I became a father. And I had gone through my younger years saying, whatever, I'll have kids, I won't have kids. It didn't really matter too much to me. I was just living my life, and I figured, hey, I'll fall in love, I'll marry a good woman, and we'll have a great life together. And if we have kids, great. No big deal. And if we don't, that's okay too. I'll be able to afford a boat. It didn't really matter to me until I actually was a dad. Okay. And the day my son was born, and I'll be honest with you, the day my son was born, I was kind of wrapped up in a whole bunch of other things. And I was like, oh, great, I'm a dad. Cool. All right, great. It was whatever. I was just living it, experiencing it. But it was about a week later when things had settled down and the family, had gone back to their homes after visiting, and everybody was excited and all that stuff. And I realized that I was holding my boy. His name's Charlie. I was holding Charlie, and kids at that age, they sleep 23 hours a day. They're just boring. They do nothing. But it kind of wasn't even cute. Just kind of mushy. But I realized in that moment that I'm holding him, I was putting him to bed. I was carrying him around until he fell asleep. And his mom had already gone to sleep, and she's still recovering from a C-section. And I'm walking around, it's like 2:00 in the morning. And I realized without me, he doesn't live. He doesn't survive. And I was just hit by this sense of responsibility and this sense of I need to take care of him. I need to raise him. I need to take everything I've learned and put it into his brain. Over time, it was this rush, this, I don't want to say overwhelming, but this not even a crushing wave, this just wash of understanding and love. And I just wanted to help him. In that moment, I wanted to help him live his whole life. I wanted to take the next 40 years of his life and just cram it in his head so he knew what to do, and he never had a mistake, and he never did anything wrong, and he never got his heart broken, and he never took the wrong job or went to the wrong school, and he never got in that fight. And all of these things I wanted to do, and I just realized I can't do all that right now. I gotta wait his whole life and do this slowly, but I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna spend the rest of my life doing what I can to make his life as good as I wish mine had always been. I just felt this. And from that moment on, I went from being a father to a dad. And just last week it was his 13th birthday. And we're doing all this, we're getting through it. That was an epiphany. That to me was a realization that I never had before. And I wasn't going to have it until I was holding my own son in my arms. So that's an epiphany. And that emotion, that's what you have to transfer to other people about the thing that you are passionate about, that you love. You got to tell the story in a way that gets people to feel. If I just sit here and I say, and then, one day I'm carrying my new baby around, I'm carrying my new son around, and I realize I got to take care of him. I got a lot of responsibility here. I got to raise him right, it's going to be rough. It's going to be interesting, but I love this kid. It's the same story, but it's not the same feeling. You don't get that sense of, that I'm trying to convey. You're just taking information and go, oh, okay. And that is the difference between those two things. That's the difference between telling your story in a way to engage someone emotionally and bring in an epiphany for them, because they got to listen to your story and go, that's what it's like to be a dad. You can't tell them what it's like to be a dad. You got to get them to understand it, to feel it. And it's difficult to do sometimes, especially if someone isn't a dad. How do you transfer that, How do I tell this story to a 19-year-old kid, to try to get him on the right path? He doesn't know that feeling, so you got to transfer that. It's powerful. And if you can do that, you can sell. If you can get that emotional transfer for people, they're going to want what you want. They're going to understand it. So, in a way, Russell talks about, being a geek, right? Geeking out about something. And people think, a lot of people think geeks and nerds are the same thing, and they're not. Okay? A geek and a nerd, the way I've seen it described, and I think this is great, is that a geek will tell you the history of the lightsaber amongst the Jedi, what it is, why it's so important, how it embodies their power, and all this stuff. That's what a geek will tell you. Because they geek out, they just know all about it, they learn all about it, they love everything about it, they want to share that. Okay, geeks are the people who dress up like they're in Gryffindor or Ravenclaw. Actually, real geeks are in Hufflepuff. But the point is, they believe this, that this thing is amazing, and that's what geeks do. Okay, a nerd is different. A geek will tell you all about a lightsaber. A nerd will build you one. That's the difference, okay? A geek is the passion, the love, the joy, and the desire to suck you into what they do and be one of us. That's a geek. You need to transfer that inner geek about whatever it is you believe in. That's going to make all the difference when you're telling your story here and going through the Epiphany Bridge. So you want to transfer that sense of emotion, that sense of discovery. When I teach sales, mostly I teach insurance sales right now, but sales is sales. And I say it this way. If you say it, it's a sales pitch. If they say it, it's gospel. Okay? People believe what they themselves say during a conversation in which someone's trying to sell something. So if you can get the customer to say what you want them to believe about this plan, as opposed to you telling them what you want them to believe about this plan, you're going to go much further in getting them to make a purchase because it's internal to them. All right. And again, if you say it's a sales pitch, and we all know salespeople, we're all just a bunch of filthy liars. And so if you say it, they're like, yeah, I don't know about that. But if they say it, okay. So to kind of internalize this and get the idea, you want to think about what are some things that you love, things that you believe in. What is the thing that you can talk about endlessly? if you just sit down with someone, what can you talk about? And for some people, it's Harry Potter or Star Wars or something like that. For other people, it's photography. For other people, it's, cooking. I work with a guy who, if you look at him, you're like, this really? He is an amazing cook. But he's not trained at all. This is everything he's done on his own. So I hesitate, to call him chef, but he's an amazing cook. And you would not think that really to look at him, because to look at him, you're like, oh, he looks kind of like a Viking. But he'll tell you, oh, he's really good working with his hands. He makes things out of wood. He does carpentry. He has all these tools. That I believe. I get that. He's like 6'2". He's kind of big. He's got the beard, big. He's a big ginger guy with the beard. And he's really good at that. And I totally believe that. But then he'll start talking to you about, how he takes his grandfather's recipe for chorizo, and he'll mix up the sausage and he'll put in just this amount of spice, the cumin and the cilantro have to be, and you're like, what? Why are you talking about this? But when he talks about it, he's passionate. He loves it. And I find myself talking to him about cooking. I like cooking too, right? And it's just two dudes talking about cooking, It's really strange, but there's that transfer of joy and emotion and love for what he's doing in that moment. And you get sucked in. You just want to listen. Like, that sounds amazing. I want to eat that, So, excuse me. So you want to figure out what you can talk about endlessly. And then think to yourself, well, what got you there? How did you discover that? And what was your feeling on that day? What was it that made you realize that you love what you love? And if you can tell that story of how you arrived there and transfer that emotion, and the person you're talking to says, wow, cooking is really a way to build a better relationship with the person I'm in love with, because it connects us. If you get them to realize that, then you've transferred your emotion, and that you sold that person. They believe too. You've made them a believer. That's what you want to do. That's sales. Make them a believer. Make your customer believe what you believe about your product. And they'll buy it because you bought it, and all it takes is that fervent belief. And that story is called the Epiphany Bridge. You're building that bridge between your epiphany, your realization, and their epiphany, their realization. You're creating that bridge that connects the two of you, okay? You crossed over from one thing to the other. That right there is what you need to transfer to other people. And if you can do that, if you can get them to believe that they will be as filled with joy and content and happiness and satisfaction and all those good things by owning what you're talking about, then they'll do it. They'll buy it. They'll find the money. They'll make it happen. So it's really great stuff. Now, there's Russell also talks about the origin story, and Stephen Larson tells a great origin story. So you'll be able to see those as well. But then Russell has a second video today. It's an hour long, and it talks all about this. It's a fantastic video. I would highly recommend watching that more than once. Okay, watch it more than once and take notes and see what he does, talking about the big dominoes statement, and talking about the Epiphany Bridge, and talking about the origin story, and talking about the transition, internal and external transition of people. And he'll talk about technobabble, which is what I'm talking about right now. Okay, it's the stuff you talk about that just makes people glaze over. All right, I got a friend who watches these videos most days, almost every morning, and he made the joke. He goes, I put them on at night too. If I want to fall asleep, I just put your videos on, and I just doze off like a baby. And we're bros. He made a joke, and that's fine. But in a certain way, he's right. Okay, if you have no interest in what I'm talking about, then the things I'm talking about, you're just gonna go, whatever, man. Okay, and you're not gonna buy in. Okay, that's fine. Well, then I'm failing to transfer my emotion, my emotion about something, to him. Now, granted, these Live-ish at Five-ish videos are not designed to transfer emotions so much unless you're already in the game. These videos are designed for people who are already in the OFA challenge. But I do want people interested. If people want to join the challenge, I want them to do that. I want them to get excited about the possibility. So I need to do a better job. But this is really, these videos are mostly informative. But if I was trying to sell it, if I was trying to get someone to make a purchase, I'd approach it in a different way. And I'd transfer my emotion about it to them. And that's what you want to do. So there's lots more stuff I could be talking about. I could be, at some point I'll talk to you about my life insurance pitch and how it affects the people emotionally. But there's lots more that could be talked about, but this is just such a big topic. Watch the videos today. I think you're going to be very interested in what Russell's talking about. It's very interesting to watch how Stephen does what he does today. So keep an eye on all that. Watch it intently. Put in the extra time. Today's a big day. Tomorrow's a big day. And they're going to start rolling in talking about funnel scripts. So get ready on that one too. But here's a big thing. Expert secrets is incredibly important to all this. It's for understanding it. So I'm definitely putting a link below to get that book. If you want to know anything about this stuff, you understand the ideas in Expert Secrets. It's a quick read. It's not War and Peace. It's not Anna Karenina, which is probably the most terrible book I've ever read in my life. But anyway, so definitely take a look at that. If you're interested. But if you're in the OFA challenge and you don't have Expert Secrets yet, you need to get it. You need to read it and understand it. It's going to help you so much with what's going on. All right, so make sure you find the link and click it. But other than that, great day of the challenge. I wish you the best of luck understanding it and internalizing it. It's going to be really good stuff. Okay, it's going to change the way you look at a lot of things if you really internalize what happens. All right, so anyway, Dan the Funnel Man here signing off again, and I will see you tomorrow. All right, have a great day.